Hi, this is Bob Murphy, video 3400. How much can I borrow? Um, so there's 5 formulas I'm going to go through. I've already gone through 3. This is the 4th one, and it helps me answer a question. How much can I borrow given, like, suppose I'm borrowing for 8 years or for 5 years? That's 8 times 12 or 5 times 12. Right? 5 times 12 is 60 months. 8 times 12 is 96 months. I'm getting some kind of interest rate. Like I'm old, so I get 3%. Young people get zapped with 9%. That's going to be my example. And then I have some fixed amount from my budget. I figured out, hey, I got a raise. I can afford $277 a month. How much can I borrow? Now, so that's part of the outline of this video. And then I'm going to show you this formula actually comes from lottery. And I'm going to actually show you Stewart is the math book, this formula where I stole this example out of. And finally, the example. Okay. Now, when I post this video, I'll figure out where the example starts and I'll put that in the little blurb at the bottom. So if you don't want to listen to all this crap, you can just go straight to the example. Again, the example is me for 8 years at 3%, you at 5 years at 9%, and both of us for $277 a month. Now, just to go back to I've been showing you guys, this is a little card I use when I'm telling people what I'm doing, right? So hopefully you can see the little cursor arrow. We're down at the 4th formula. And if you've been doing the other formulas with me, okay, this thing, they keep getting trickier and trickier. We had this 1 plus I raised to the n minus 1 divided by I. That was in the 2nd formula. And the 3rd formula, that same stuff was down in the denominator. All right. Now, calculator wise, we've got a new trick, a couple of new tricks. The I and the N are going to get a lot messier in this problem. And notice that the N has a negative sign on it. So when we're going to use a calculator, you can't use the minus sign. You typically have to use the plus minus sign. So like there's buttons for multiply, divide, add, subtract. Don't use the subtract button. And then the last video of these formulas will actually be, if I'm borrowing so much, say I borrow amount of money and I have 8 years or 5 years to pay it off and I'm getting 9% or 3% interest, how much would I have to pay per month? Okay, like, because most of us, I always did budgeting like, I had this much extra money in a month. What can I afford? Most people go, oh, I want that car for 40 grand. And then, they find out when the tow truck's driving it away 3 months later, they couldn't afford it. So anyway, now I'm going to share another thing. All right. So the formula that we're going to use, okay, this is from, well, obviously the date's on there, Tuesday, July 18. This is year 2023. The Mega Millions was 640. The Powerball was 900 million. One has a cash option of 465 million. The other has a cash option of 328 million. Where the hell did those cash option numbers come from? Those come from that 4th formula. It comes from that 4th formula. And I'm going to show you in the math book. Now, I realize that if for most people who are playing along at this stage in the game, this math book is way too much. All right. I just need to show people, like, I didn't make this crap up, man. I stole it. This book is from 2001. The author, James Stewart, I think this was his 4th edition of his pre-calculus book. It's the 10th chapter dealing with annuities. And way down there, the present value of an annuity, A of P equals R times, and there's, if you want to zoom in, you can stop the video, you can zoom in. All right. So I stole these stuff. I mean, other people figured it out. I'm going to just use it. Now, the example that's given, the present value of an annuity, one of the examples the author talks about winning the lottery. And if you win those big lotteries, you can get payments. Let's say it's $900 million and you got it for 30 years. Well, it's going to be 30 million bucks a year. Now, you may not want to wait 30 years to get all your money, and the lottery probably wants to get rid of you. And they come up with this present value formula. All right. So you can look this stuff up. I just, as a math teacher, I kind of got, like, I got to do a little more than go just, oh, press the buttons. Oh, there's the number. Okay. I mean, you don't have to know where this comes from, but if you want to, bada bing, I left you enough. All right. Let's go back, and I need to share the other thingy, right? The other thing. All right. So here's the example. And I'm going to zoom in a bit here. Notice the formula. All right. It's not on the green page anymore, but it's the same formula. R times the quantity. 1 minus quantity, 1 plus I raised to the negative n, another parentheses. Oh, I forgot to divide by I first, right? Order of operations. Yikes. This thing's going to be tricky. And I don't know if this ever takes off. I'll probably have to do these problems like one step at a time with a calculator in front of you. These are hella easy to screw up. Now, what I want to show you is a couple things. I mentioned this $277. Where the hell did I get that from? Well, $277 is right down here. I got a $2 an hour raise. I get paid every Friday, right? So that's 40 hours a week. 2 times 40 is 80 bucks more a week. Times 52 weeks is, so 40 times 52 is 2,080 times 2. But see, here's the thing, you guys. Loans are paid by month. So I'm getting paid every week, all right? And I'm getting another $2. So we could do that kind of in our head, $4,160. And I'm going to divide that by 12 for the months. And then I'm going to multiply it by 0.8 because I'm paying taxes. This is not a tax policy thing. This is just, so you're paying taxes. It means you're going to take home, let's say you're taking home 80% of this raise. That turns into $277 a month. Now, down here, okay, this got messy. There's Murphy, that's me, and there's you over there, all right? Now, Murphy gets 3%, and Murphy gets 8 years, all right? And what the hell, where did that come from? Oh, look at that. I get 0.03 divided by 12, which turns into 0.0025. And I get 8 years times 12, which is 96 months, okay? And so look what happens with this formula. We have 1 plus 0.03 divided by 12. Now, when you do that part, just that part, you end up with 1.0025, okay? And then you have to raise this to the minus 96 power. Boom. If you do everything correctly, you'll have 1 minus 0.7886 divided by 0.025. And then remember, the R is the 277.33. So what this all turns out is I can borrow $23,643. And 23 grand. Now, when I first did this problem about 6 or 7 years ago, and right now it's 2023. So when I first did this problem, might have been 8 years ago, you could buy a pretty damn good car for 23 grand. All right. Nowadays, not as great. Okay. But the key thing is, it's let's not get bogged down, let's not get too bogged down yet. What I want to do is I just want to walk through the other side. Suppose you're one of my students back when I was a high school math teacher, right? You're going to get a crappy interest rate, and they're not going to give you 8 years to pay the thing off. They're going to give you 5 years, and the interest rate's going to be 3 times higher than what I'm paying. And so like 0.09 divided by 12 turns into 0.0075, as long as you don't goof up anything. You only have 5 years times 12, so you've got 60 months. So notice how the formula, when you fill it in, all right, okay, there's a lot going on, but it's still filled in the same damn way. 1 plus 0.0075. So this whole quantity gets raised to negative 60 power. Boom. Totally easy to screw up. So you've got 1 minus this mess divided by that times 2077.33. I obviously skipped a bunch of the steps. And because frankly, like if you didn't get this part right, the Murphy part right, you sure as hell aren't going to get that part. So you need to practice on the Murphy calculation before you can do this one. Now, at the end, like social justice wise, right? I grew up on welfare. I was in the bottom 25 and 50% of income till I was like 30. So I didn't pick my family. I mean, they loved me and they helped as much as they could, but we didn't have money. And who's paying 9%? Who's paying 3%? Now, this year, 2023, I'll probably get 5% and you're getting 15. I mean, it's like, okay, you don't have any money, so let's beat you down and make sure you don't get any car or reliable car, right? So anyway, you could also use this to estimate how much money you could borrow if you wanted to buy a house. Of course, in our current job market, if there's jobs, the houses aren't affordable unless you're in the top. Anyway, so enough of that. End of video. I hope it made sense.